Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Dallas Cowboys Jerry Jones praises Buffalo Bills before Week 15 tilt, as good as anybody. The football gods and the NFL schedule makers have combined to give fans one of the most exciting home stretches in recent memory. Through 14 weeks, 13 teams are within one game of .500, and it seems like every contender has a premier matchup or two in the final quarter of the season. For the Buffalo Bills, that started with beating the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 14, and continues when they host the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. Dallas has been one of the best teams in football since its Week 7 bye, posting a 6-1 record headlined by last week's 33-13 win over the Philadelphia Eagles. Quarterback Dak Prescott has cemented himself as an MVP candidate, if not the favorite. With the NFC's top seed within reach, each game has an extra dose of intensity. Of course, Buffalo has something to play for, too. At 7-6, and fresh of a momentous win, the Bills have a chance to sneak into the AFC playoffs. Stealing a win against Dallas would bring their playoff odds to about a 2/3 chance, and the Miami Dolphins' recent stumble has opened up a path to an AFC East title. Buffalo is amped up, and Cowboys owner Jerry Jones is well aware. Jones spoke on 105.3 The Fan on Tuesday about the Week 15 matchup. "They're a dangerous team," Jones said. "At any given time, they can be as good as anybody in the NFL, in my mind. The Bills have suffered some brutal defeats at the hands of fluky mishaps and ill-timed turnovers, but it's clear they present a challenge on any given week. They rank 5th in point differential, and their offense ranks 4th in expected points added per play and 3rd in success rate. In Week 14, it was the defense that came up big, forcing 2 turnovers and ultimately holding Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to 17 points. They got the players. They've got the quarterback. They're just a good team," Jones said. "Of all the places that a home field advantage is different than the normal games you play, it's Buffalo, New York. Bills Mafia will certainly make itself known on Sunday. Dallas suffered each of its 3 losses in enemy territory and will have to overcome that disadvantage if it wants to avoid a road playoff game. Don't expect Buffalo to make it easy for them. For all of the Bills' inconsistencies, they still have an MVP-caliber quarterback under center and enough offensive talent to make some noise. Defensible or not, they rallied around head coach Sean McDermott and put themselves in position to fight for their playoff lives before a Week 18 date with the Miami Dolphins." Dallas Cowboys Trey Lance trade plan? 5 reasons to move Dak Prescott back up to Minnesota Vikings. So much has transpired in this Dallas Cowboys season that it's difficult to recall the turbulent opening chapters. Summer's end brought debate around the quarterback spot, one where some felt, wrongly, as CowboysSI.com reported at the time, that a message was sent when the team traded with San Francisco in a deal that sent Trey Lance to North Texas. Though injury-prone and unproven, Lance's lingering potential was tantalizing in the wake of Dak Prescott's sometimes struggles during the 2022 season. By now, even the most casual viewer of Cowboys football is well-versed in the Prescott redemption, one that might make Lance's presence a bit redundant. Lance, the 3rd pick of the 2021 draft, could realistically develop into a number 2, but as Prescott destined for another big contract, the team could opt to stick with Cooper Rush as his understudy for both financial and philosophical reasons. This year, the reliable Rush, who has another year left on his deal, remains the Cowboys' primary passing backup plan, while Lance has been stationed as the emergency third arm. Lance thus appears on a list of potential offseason trade candidates compiled by Connor Livesay of the 33rd Team, a group that also features established stars like Devontae Adams, Joey Bosa, and Stephon Diggs. If the Cowboys stick with Rush at QB2, they could start calling quarterback-needy teams that missed out on Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels in the 2024 NFL Draft, Livesay notes. The Cowboys could get a better return for Lance than what they paid from teams such as the Minnesota Vikings, New Orleans Saints, or Seattle Seahawks. If those teams miss out on the top passers in the draft, they could see Lance as a viable option. Our thoughts? We've got 5 of them. Dallas gave a 4th-round pick for Lance. Would another team pay more? If so, that's the way to play poker here. The Cowboys would listen. Next year, the Cowboys will owe Lance $5.3 million, and all of that money for the 2024 season is fully guaranteed. Is that a cap problem? No. But after 2024, he's a free agent unless the Cowboys want to pick up his expensive $25 million fifth-year option by May 1st, which they do not. All the more reason to get something for him while they can, especially as Rush costs just $2.2 million in 24, the final year of his deal. Is there a financial middle ground here? Sure. The Cowboys could approach Lance and offer him something way less than his fifth-year option, and indeed, a source tells CowboysSI.com that Dallas prefers that idea. A problem: how will Dallas ever know if Lance is better than Rush and worth that commitment? It'll be a crapshoot. And to many, Lance's home state, so there would surely be an attraction there. Vikings floated as off-season trade destination for Cowboys quarterback. The Minnesota Vikings have made yet another change at quarterback. Head coach Kevin O'Connell tabbed Nick Mullins as the starter following another rough start for Josh Dobbs in Week 14. This situation is sure to bleed into the offseason where even more questions loom. Kirk Cousins will be 36 years old by the start of next season. He is a free agent after this season and there is no heir apparent on the roster. Minnesota should explore multiple avenues to shore up the position. Enter Dallas Cowboys quarterback Trey Lance. Lance might raise the ceiling on Dallas QB2 spot, but the Cowboys could get a better return for Lance than what they paid from teams such as the Minnesota Vikings, New Orleans Saints or Seattle Seahawks, wrote Connor Livesay of 33rd Team on December 8. If those teams miss out on the top passers in the draft, they could see Lance as a viable option. The number 3 overall pick in the 2021 draft, Lance has yet to throw a pass this season behind starter Dak Prescott, whose MVP candidacy could alter Dallas' backup plans. Prescott is heading into the final year of his contract and Cooper Rush is already locked in. Lance opened the 2022 campaign as the San Francisco 49ers starting quarterback. He suffered an ankle injury that knocked him out for the season and required multiple surgeries, losing his starting spot to Brock Purdy in the process. Dallas acquired Lance from San Francisco for a 4th-round pick in August. He completed 66.7% of his passes for 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception during the preseason while still with the Niners. In 2 seasons with San Francisco, Lance completed 54.9% of his passes 797 yards with 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. He added 235 yards and 1 touchdown on 54 carries in that span. He is also a Marshall, Minnesota native and was a standout at Marshall High School. Minnesota wants to bring Cousins back next season, per Diana Rossini of The Athletic. But his age and contract situation makes planning for the future a prudent exercise. This could at least be a part of their plans to address the looming issue. The Vikings could very well end up as victims of their success. They could win just enough games to miss out on the top quarterback prospects and be stuck trying to make things work with a mid-tier option and/or, as would be the case with Lance, a reclamation project. Trevor Sakima of Pro Football Focus believes they should do whatever it takes to get into position to draft LSU star and Heisman winner Jaden Daniels. But players like Oregon's Bo Nix and Washington's Michael Penix Jr. could be bargain options. And you fan, what do you think of the Trey Lance situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.